Today I have in front of me a grinder that I've been very excited to review on this channel. This is a grinder that I've always desired having. This is the Weber Workshop's HG-2 grinder. This is a hand grinder, and this is the most expensive hand grinder that you can buy. Coming in this onyx color, it comes in at $1,750. That is not a cheap grinder in general, yet alone when it comes to having to manually grind, it makes it that much more expensive. So one of the reasons why I always wanted this grinder was for the fact that I really just wanted to have a fully manual setup. So I have a Flair 58 and I have various other manual espresso machines that you can use, and I just really wanted a premium luxurious hand grinder to go along with it. That is where this came in. I originally saw this grinder when it was a company called Lynn Weber, where a guy named Craig Lynn and a guy named Douglas Weber got together and joined forces to make the best coffee products possible. Since then, they have broken ties, and now it's Craig Lynn Studios, Design Studios, and Weber Workshops, which is known for the HG-1 electric grinder, the Weber Workshops key grinder, and the hand grinder here. So they still make this. Craig Lynn still makes it in a little bit various one, but I felt like this one was a little bit better design, and I wanted to go with this one. So I want to go over a few of the features. I want to show you how it works and some of the things about it. So I want to start off by going over the features. We have this collapsible handle on the side just to make the space a little bit more smaller so it doesn't take up as much space. It has a storage brush in the handle there, so it has a nice little brass finish on it and a nice little brush, so you can simply just shove it in the handle there, so you always have a brush to go. It's got a leather pad here. It's got this magic tumbler, and in this magic tumbler it also acts as a blind shaker, so you have the shaker portion of it here, and you also have a magnetic lid for the full blind shaker effect. It is quite a bit bigger than the standard blind shaker that comes with the HG-1. We also have a little clothespin looking thing here to help distribute the grinds as it spins around with the grinds. So it kind of does a little distribution in there. So you kind of have to tilt this in around it, and it magnets up in there. They used to have it so it would sit down on the bottom there, which is also magnetic down there too as well. So you're always going to get it centered regardless how you do it. It's got magnets here to hold up this, and it feeds the beans in right there. This is a stepped grinder. I believe it's 5 microns in between, which gives plenty of adjustments for pour over all the way down to the small increments that you need for espresso. This also has a 83 millimeter Mazzer burr on the inside of it, and it comes with a few accessories here. You get a sticker, some other stuff, and it comes with this little amber glass spray bottle here, and it comes with this little condiment looking ketchup thing that feels super cheap but actually works super nicely and holds 18 grams of beans. Right next to me I have the Weber Workshops bean canister in the plastic kind, one-way valve there on it. So let's go ahead and get into it. I do want to make one note is I made one small adjustment to this grinder, and I put some smoked glass panels on or smoked plastic panels on it, which was another $40 add-on. So this came up to $1,750. Also on here, $1,790. It also has some silicone grips on the bottom of it, and it's got a 2-gear ratio, so you can make it easier. So this means the bird turns at 1 full rotation, and this means you do 2 full rotations for the bird to go in a full 360. So let's go ahead and add some beans in here. This also comes off, so it's super easy to clean, super easy to access, and this is all magnetic as well. Anything that you buy from Weber is going to feel very premium and feel very good and work fairly well. Now this comes in at a little bit cheaper price than the Weber Workshops key, which is theoretically the same grinder with a motor, but I'm just going to go ahead and adjust this to an even number of 12 and lock it back down. Now one of the things I did notice with mine is sometimes that doesn't, you kind of have to push it down a little bit more to get it in place. but once you get used to it, it just feels a little different than my HG-1. So I'm going to go ahead and put some beans in there. There's 18 grams in here. And this is going to be a little hard sitting down, but I kind of want you to get an idea of what this is. This is just a standard light roast from a local coffee shop. So you simply grab this handle here and this other handle here. So I find this to take roughly 30 seconds or so to grind, and every single time it comes out well. It sticks a little to the wall of the shaker, but overall it does a good job. And you get a little residue on the inside of it, but you can simply just pop this brush out, clean underneath, and you're good to go. But the question is $1,750 or $1,650 if you go with the silver color is no small cost when it comes to a grinder. In fact, you can buy a lot of grinders for that price. You can buy a DF64V and a DF64V, both of which are exceptional grinders, both of which have motors, and both of which have quite a bit of options when it comes to the burrs that you buy inside. So when it comes to this grinder, a lot of people are going to ask me, should you buy one? And I would say it depends. One of the things that I thought would be easier is I thought it would be easier to grind. Personally, I don't understand the 2-gear system too much because any light roast, you're not going to want it on the 2 setting. I would say it would be better if there was another setting that was even easier than the 1. I found this scoots around a lot on a counter. This was a desk, so you saw it shaking a little bit when it comes to that. But overall, this is a really good grinder, and I do want to note one thing in particular. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't gotten that far yet. This helps me produce more content and buy this, and I paid full price for this thing, which was not a cheap thing. One of the things that gets a bad rap is Weber's Workshop customer service. They've since changed it, and it's gotten better, and I wanted to test to that for a little bit because I actually did have an issue with this grinder. And the issue isn't what you think. The issue was the complete user error. I stripped one of these bolts on the inside when I was changing out these panels to the ones that Weber Workshop sells, and I stripped it and I eventually got it out, but I didn't have a bolt to go in. I emailed them and they got it here pretty quickly for me free of charge and was very accommodating to me, even though it was a complete issue with me. So zero issue with customer service. I thought they handled everything super well and super quickly. Zero complaints and zero problems with it, which is why I wouldn't rule out buying this because of customer service. One of the things I noticed, even though this isn't the easiest thing to grind with because you are hand grinding the whole time, this is a very enjoyable experience to do. It only takes 30 seconds. It feels good. Everything is smooth on it. The build structure is crazy good the whole time on this thing. I couldn't recommend it enough. This is my initial impressions, and my initial impressions is you get incredibly good results on it. It has a conical burr, but it kind of feels like a flat in the mouthfeel, so you get a little bit of body and you get a little bit of clarity, and it's kind of a hybrid in between those things, and it is phenomenal. This is the fixed point on my coffee bar down here where I do some of my manual brewing. This replaces some of the electric grinders that I have down here. So now I only use 2 grinders on a regular basis, that being this and my Weber Workshop's HG-1, which is my everyday grinder upstairs. And then I also have a Atom 75 by Eureka that I use at work, but that's a different story. This did replace my DF64V down here in the coffee bar in the basement, so I'm not using that anymore. I'm using this. I pulled 8 shots with it yesterday. Zero issues whatsoever. I'm going to continue to use this because I don't want to give a full stamp of approval until after months of using. I've been using this not every day for about a month and a half or so. Actually, just about a month, every other day I would say. And so far, so good. But I would love to hear your thoughts. Have you even considered it? Have you seen this grinder before? Again, this is my initial impressions on it, not my overall you should buy it impressions on it, which will come at a later video, which is also what I'm working on is my Weber Workshop's HG-1 full review video. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you like and subscribe and let me know with any questions that you have.